Welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Mrinmoy Pramanik. I teach comparative Indian language and literature at the University of Calcutta. Today we will discuss translation as reading from the paper Literary Translation in India. The content of this paper is written by Safia Begum, research scholar, University of Hyderabad. This module tries to see how translation itself can be seen as an act of reading. Translation, a creative rewriting of an existing text, mainly happens based on the reading of the source text. Thus, reading plays a major role in the process of translation. A translator's critical or different reading and perception of a text becomes a major factor in translating a text in a different manner. So, this module focuses on how reading a text becomes one of the main causes of various translations of a particular text. In this module, we will also concentrate on the translators, who are none other than but readers. His or her act of reading can be different in understanding than the source author of the text too. How his or her act of reading and ideology reflects in his or her translated works is important to see, which we will discuss further. So, the main thrust of this module is to point out how reading of a text varies with the change of various parameters and how meaning of a text changes with different readerships. In order to do so, it takes the examples from the famous Urdu novel Aag Ka Darya, which was published in 1959, which is translated as River of Fire in 1999 by the author herself and self-translator, the translator and author of this book is Kurtulen Haidar. However, it does not restrict itself to work of one author. Now, let us talk about reading and translation. A text contains multiple layers of informations, ideas, and meanings which are written intention and purpose by the source author. However, it is also a fact that two people cannot read the same text in the same way, because there is no such technique that can exactly interpret a text and bring a unified single meaning for different set of readers. It depends upon the reader's perception, understanding, and approach to a text. Regarding this, Wolfgang Iser, German literary scholar, says a reader should not approach to a text with a rigid kind of mindset. He should be open to analyze a text in different possible ways, which will give him a better understanding. Iser further differentiates between various readers. He says there is an implied reader who is supposed to respond to a text in a way it is written, and then comes an actual reader who perceives the text based on his experiences. Similarly, Roland Barthes also explains that a text is not an object to evaluate or judge. Rather, it is a well-organized system of body which is held in a language. It is plural in meaning because it is liberal, where one interpretation is not an answer. So, the text no more remains a text of an author but belongs to the readers. It is the reader who has to decide or take the text to its final destination. That is, meaning otherwise the text will remain a work, a physical object that occupies space, not a text. A text is held in a language. A text remains open for all to think and take out various possible meaning from it. Thus, a text has many meanings, irrespective of what the author may want to say. Whatever a reader perceives and understands cannot be denied, because the intention of readers may vary. Each reading of a text by a reader makes it different. That is how it holds it a separate entity. A translated text, due to its meaning extracted from a source text, is always seen in comparison to the source text. Its own entity has always been denied. It is generally termed as good or bad, depending upon whether the translated text is faithful to its source text or not. But this remains various factors, like when one translates a text, he does not only render it into another language, but may also be into another new culture. The first step in the process of translation is the translator's act of reading a source text. Like any other reader, translator also reads a text. He tries hard to get to know the author's intentions behind the text. It is not necessary that a translator, as a reader, preserves the author's meaning in the target text. There is the comments that the reader no longer preserves the author's meaning but produces new ones involving the death of the author and the birth of the reader. Thus, there cannot be any definite meaning of a text. That is why a text gets translated many times. The following are many such examples of one text getting translated into another language a number of times, one of being Rabindranath Tagore's classic text, Gora. It got translated 5 times into English by various translators in different period of time. This shows the various possibilities of interpretation that a single text can have in different times by different readers. Due to this, we can say that there is no notion of equivalences, and one cannot deny the importance of each text, because each text has its own identity and it brings different interpretations of the source text. Another example is Mirza Hadi Ruswa's very famous novel Umrao Jan Ada. The text got translated twice into English, first by Khushwant Singh and M.A. Hussaini, and the second time by David Matthews. In Ruswa's text, the translators have not only done some minor changes, but deleting some parts. They have also deleted the mushaira, which is considered to be the main part of the novel. Sukrita Paul Kumar comments in the introduction of the text that mushaira introduces Umrao Jan Ada, a redefined poetic taste. Her poise and her ability to excel in the company of knowledgeable men. It is only after her grace and competence impress everyone that they urge her to tell them the story of her life. Paul also mentions that Singh and Hussaini feel that by deleting mushaira from their text, they have left an important part of the novel. David Matthews' translated version maintained the voice of Ruswa and has the mushaira part. It has very simple and easy language, but like Singh and Hussaini, he has also merged chapters one into another in the same manner. The source text has total 25 chapters, whereas the two translated versions have 15 chapters only. Selection of chapters shows that for Hussaini and Singh, the story of Ada is more important than any other part of the novel. For them, the continuity of the narration holds prominence. The two different translations and readers of the same text defined and presented the text in a different manner. In the translation of Agka Darya, or a river of fire, we can also see the same kind of changes. The characters in the novel act as they do in Agka Darya. They are reborn. They meet and they also get separated. The translator has conveyed the cyclic nature of history and human beings in the novel. Critical reading of both the text brought into notice the differences and similarities shared by both the versions. The similarities of importance make the target text important in comparison to source text. But the differences between both the text make them separate individual text too. The target text follows the themes, has characters of the source text, and is narrated in the same sequence as it is done in the source text. But the target text individuality lies in the presentation of the same things in a different manner. The creativity and the style of the translator make it separate from the source text. The target text brings newness which makes it better in its presentation in comparison to the source text. The translator enjoys the liberty in the process of translation, or her reading designates the source text separately. Translator opens the door of various interpretation of a text even between two different language readers. The language and cultural difference bring a new readership and a new way of thinking and interpreting a text. It can be said that the methodologies used by a translator can be used as an example to read a text. He may separate all the parts of a text to recreate another text out of an existing text. He goes into the source text language and cultural world to understand and bring out another world for his target readers. A text getting rendered into another language makes it important, and its individuality lies in getting rendered into a language to which the source language culture is new and unfamiliar. Now let us talk about a role of the translator. In the preview of the nature of the module, it is important to discuss the role of the translator. A translator is considered as one who expresses himself by keeping himself aside during the process of translation. He wears the mask of author and gives his voice to someone else's work. He has a double job at hand to do. He finds himself in between source text and target text, first as a receiver of the source text and then producer of the target text. So his first step in the process of translation is to read the source text. Obviously, he occupies a special position during this process of translation. He reads a source text to initiate the act of translation. A translator, in fact, is more or less considered as a mediator who helps the author in transcending the cultural and linguistic boundary. A translator, through a translated text, presents an alien society and culture to the target audience. In this regard, the translator does a highly responsible task. Sometimes he loses his identity for a while in the process of translation. However, his painstaking task does not gain him much reward. His work is just considered as a mechanical activity and not a creative one. His work is judged based on its fidelity to the source text and gets labeled as good, bad, fluent, and lucid, and so on. A translator familiarizes readers to another culture. In the process, he contributes to the field of literature and helps in developing a language and culture as well. He understands the need of the target readers and tries to overcome the differences and difficulties that he comes across during the process of reading the source text. He tries to convey the intentions of the author. However, readability is one of the major components of a translated text. The criteria for judgment is that it should be fluently readable by the target readers. At the same time, the author's intentions should also be reflected clearly in the target text. After then, a translated text will be considered more or less as a successful translation. However, to remove all those differences and achieve the same effect in the target language as it had in the source language text is quite difficult. In this aspect, Gyanuti says, translation is the forcible replacement of the foreign text with a text that is intelligible to the translating language reader. These differences can never be entirely removed, but they necessarily undergo a reduction and exclusion of possibilities and an exorbitant gain of other possibilities specific to the translating language. Now, let us talk few things about translation as an act of reading. The process of translation begins with a thorough reading of a source text. Translator, due to need and demand of his task, reads each word and sentence meticulously. He adopts such a method where he tries to give importance even to a smallest detail without neglecting them. His reading is a process towards finding out the various possibilities of meaning. A reader, through the process of reading, goes into a new atmosphere and situations where it does not construct or give one definite meaning, but possibilities of various meanings. Reading paves the way to the uncertainties of word both in terms of isolated and in association with other words or sentences or paragraph or in the complete context of a work. Reading acts as a tool to find out the meaning. In this process, a reader is found between various situations, where before reaching to the final meaning, he needs to unravel his understanding of a text. The same is true in the case with the translator's act of reading a text. A translator also responds to a text in the same manner as any other reader and generates meanings. Reading helps in understanding a text through questions in which one answer leads to another. This is how a translator or reader understands or brings meaning to a text. Devorah Cook, in his article Translation as Reading, comments on the translator's act of reading by saying that translation is a response to the reading that gives it life. According to Devorah Cook, problems of translation are ultimately problems of reading and can only be properly formulated and solved when reading is understood. Translator's act of reading is a non-stop course of action where he tries or opens up new opportunities of connections or point of analysis or semantic links. However, it does not mean that the text has arrived to its final meaning by the translator's act of reading a source text. There cannot be any definite meaning of a text, so that is why a text is translated many times. There are many such examples of one text being translated into another language, a number of times which has been mentioned previously in the module. Now, let us conclude our discussion. From all the above discussions, it is clear that a text can generate various meaning depending upon the reader's intentions and moods. It can be presented according to translators' different ideology and understanding of the source text. Their needs and intentions also decide the meaning of a text. Translation brings into notice how a reading of a text can differ from one person to another person, how a reader's intention defines a text variously in different period of time by various readers. Translator opens the door of various interpretations of a text even between two different language readers. The language and cultural difference bring a new readership and a new way of thinking and interpreting a text. The translator brings out the various possibilities of each word's meaning. He discovers different possible meanings of a text, a literary text, an imaginative creation of an author, gives different realities and ideas to a reader. Translator has to bring out the different possible meanings, and from that he has to choose the most suitable and possible meaning. His intentions are to describe what the author meant in a way and which is nearer to the author's intention and meanings. Text allows innumerable meanings and interpretations that the author might have not thought about, but the readers can give various interpretation to a text. In its different meaning lies its different representations and lies its separation of a target text and its individuality. In the translation of Aag Ka Darya, River of Fire, there are changes which are due to change or the difference in the ideology and reading of the text by the translator who has translated the text after a huge time of the publication of the novel. The translator has conveyed the cyclic nature of history and human beings. The basic theme of the novel, individual versus history, Indian culture, multiculturalism, and mental agony of partition are portrayed in the same way as it is represented in Aag Ka Darya. The culture of Hindu-Muslim society has been shown by their relationship. However, the translator has represented the source text with many changes that are obvious from the beginning of the target text. Now, let us summarize the module. So, in this module, we have discussed how the process of translation can also be seen as an act of reading by the translator. How background, understanding of the text by the translators changes the ways of translation. We have discussed this with two specific examples, that are Rabindranath Tagore's Gora and Kurtulin Haidar's Aag Ka Darya, transcrited as River of Fire, and also Mirza Hadi Rushuwa's Umrao Jan Ada. We have discussed perspectives of Wolfgang Iser, Rolla Barthes, Terry Eagleton, Lawrence Venuti, Deborah Cook, and others. Hope you find it very much useful. Further, you can look at the e-text and learn more and self-assessment tabs for more on the module. Thank you.